Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my most favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that'll have plot synopsis and character bios for the issue we're about to look at today. Amazing Spider Man number 306 from 1988. We are continuing running our way through Todd McFarlane's Amazing Spider Man. I actually have most of them already. I have a playlist. I actually started from 314 forward and then decided to work my way back. I have a playlist where I've been putting them in order. So you'll be able to look at the ones you've missed and the ones that'll come in the future. Real quick here. So Todd's coming back, inking himself because Spider-Man during this time was twice a month. Now, the only thing I've always liked this image, but then I realized that this part should not be solid black in my opinion. It should be like this one here, like with this little bit of blue showing in there. Because to me, if you did this like this, you should do that. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I am not an artist of the caliber of Todd McFarlane, who is great. This is an homage to Action Comics #1. I have every single one of these issues in near mint condition because I have the originals that are all terrible and destroyed that I had, and then I've gone back and rebought them before COVID, so it didn't cost me an arm and a leg like it does. So great cover here, and so hubbugged, and like I said, we got Todd McFarlane returning as artist. So he's yelling at paparazzi here, and you can see here he's webbed his camera. So Michelinie, David Michelinie, or Michelinie, depends. Todd McFarlane, Rick Parker, Bob Sharon, Jim Salicrup, and Tom DeFalco. Jim Shooter has been fired off Marvel Comics. Jim Salicrup, by the way, used to be the Uncanny X-Men editor after Roger Stern before he moved on to other projects, and I believe he's now editor-in-chief of some company. So, all right, so love this. When I said no interviews, I meant no interviews. So, Spider-Man is a bit of a celebrity since that book came out. As I mentioned, I have a playlist. Check it out. So the camera guy is like, we just wanted a statement on that book of photos. So that's the one that they're publishing here. And he says, you want a statement? Talk to the man who took the pictures. His name's Peter Parker, and he's a lot more sociable than I am. So we've been, part of the issue has been that he is actually jealous of himself. So he wants Peter Parker to get a little bit more credit. I love this guy kind of smiling here. You can see the Todd mannerisms are starting to take. He's feeling more comfortable inking himself here. We don't have all the ticks that he's famous for, but we're getting there here. And this guy's like, the media has a right to know. And he's like, what about my privacy? So, and so he moves this guy out of the way here because he was blocking his exit. And so off he goes. And one of Todd's, you're going to start to see, by the way, the webbing's getting so much better. You can see here he's drawing the building backgrounds and everything. So great stuff here. Absolutely wonderful. So all right, so this part is photo stats. So you can see this part is drawn, and then this part is the photo stats. So here we get a little bit of introspective that he's wants Peter Parker to get a little bit of the spotlight that Spider-Man's always taking here. So absolutely awesome. So, oh, look at all these poses. And just think, and McFarlane's just getting started. Oh, I know why he went to Image, but I'm just so sad that we go. And I've always said not Jim, Frank Miller does great vertical panels, but Todd McFarlane I think is the second best um, at doing vertical panels. So he's gonna change back to Peter, um, and just can't still realize that he has a home now to go to with a wife. So he, of course, is recently married during this time. So, and we got the villain for this issue, or this humbug guy walking through them, and they're kind of bullying him. These kids are bullying him. So you can see here he's got a thing from Radio Shack and Army Surplus. So he's a electronic guy, and he's out of jail now, and he's gonna start plotting his revenge, and gonna call himself the Humbug. So I don't know if he has appeared more in modern times. I think he showed up a little bit during these times, but not too much. So again, Tom McFarlane drawing some backgrounds. Love the silhouette of the buildings with the Bedford Towers, which is where I believe he's staying. Yep, right there, the Bedford Tower condominium. So um and so he's knocking on the door. Mary Jane's like, "Did you lose your key?" And then he opens it up. He says his hands are full because he's holding a flower for her, a rose here. So, um, he they're embracing. They're newlyweds. He gets a knock on the door, and Jonathan Caesar, he'll have a prominent in our next arc. He'll be the main antagonist here. Um, Spoiler alert, I guess I should have said, but these comic books are over 30 years old, um so he's knocking on the door and wanted to say welcome her back from returning to Los Angeles, and brings these flowers. This is his butler, and Peter's like, oh, with just the one flower here, so you can see him tossing it here. So he invites him to a party. She says she's going to Cleveland on Thursday, but she'll be back by Friday night. And he goes, excellent, I'll be expecting you. Both of you, of course. So he takes his leave, and you can see Peter here. Gee, should I throw up now or wait till later? And she's all like, oh. So he's going to go, you're going to put those on a vase? He goes, nope, they go to the cleaning lady. His flower goes in the vase because she believes it's more important. And of course, they're going to have a little piece here, and they're like, have I told you I love you? Not for minutes. So oh. And so the black cat has returned here. She was in a relationship with Spider-Man. They broke up, but she's back, and so she's gonna pay him a visit, and sees the skylight, comes up, and he's like, he startles this guy. She's like, Where's Peter Parker? Beats me, lady. My name's Hal. I just moved in a couple of weeks ago." So, and the Felix, the cat. So this guy's like, "I knew I should have stayed in Brooklyn." So I love this part here. Spider-Man must have moved because that apartment holds too many memories. He couldn't stand living there without me. That means he still loves me. All the more reason to find him. So great. Love just doing things in silhouette. It's so much easier here. So we're in Cleveland here, and so he's gonna do a speech and an autograph session for his book here. So Peter is nervous here. This guy comes in and asks if he could sign his copy of Webs, and he says he doesn't mean to be pushy, but he has to leave early and hate missing his autograph, and says, "No problem, here you go." And turns out he had all these comic books here when he drops it here. I thought it was gonna be he was gonna serve him with something. I haven't read these in forever, so I'm reading them for the first time in years as I go along with you guys. I don't look at these ahead of time, so I get just as surprised as you. So I haven't probably read these in 20 years or more. So it's part of the reason I quit collecting new comics because I just don't read them that much anymore. So the guy's gonna be selling his comic books to pay for tuition and thanks him for the autograph. So um, here he is signing again silhouettes here with just a hint, and so that this was the comic book that he was looking, and Mary Jane bought it for him. And then this is the editor Jim Salicrup here, who Todd McFarlane put in. This is so cartoony. It's just wonderful. Todd McFarlane is such a good artist. I really miss his drawing. I truly do. He practically has retired from drawing. Very sad. So Chicago here. Um, and so this guy's going in to see. His name is Mr. Carson, I guess. So he goes to this guy and says he has to take his place. It's nothing personal. He says hostile takeovers are nothing to joke about. He says it's not gonna be. It's not. He's not joking, and this takeover won't be hostile. He's gonna give him the company, and the guy says, "I'm gonna call security," and he stops him from calling security, and suddenly he turns and shoots this guy with a dart gun. Interlude over. Now, we'll be seeing what is happening. So you can see here that fact that he's turned into him. You can probably guess who he is. So, all right. So now we go into this humbug character. Love the McFarlane capes, even on a silly little guy. You saw a little bit when you had the Prowler on the last issue we cover here. So he was an entomology professor. So, all right. I'd love again. So, look at this here. So apparently this guy was from Web of Spider-Man or something. So that's all right. It's really not important. So we're going to move along. Just again, another vertical panel that McFarlane just small here puts him in between these. So love the capes. And so you see here, he's creating a whirlpool here. And turns out that was a girl's locker room, and he did not realize that. And so they're all throwing his stuff at him, and he's running away. So once again, New York City, always a full moon, always. So Aunt May was visiting the kids here, and Peter says, "Can't you stay any longer?" Look at the flower with the vase there. And she says, "No, you guys have a party to go to." She just wanted to say hi. So, and to tell Peter how proud she is of him. She's proud of the place, proud of the book he's published, the career he's chosen, just thrilled. And she's happy that he's going back to school. So, I do like, or I like the fact that they have de-aged Aunt May a little bit. I've always thought that Aunt May would only be like 20 years older, 25 at the most. Let's say she was, but his parents would have been. Uncle Ben was the older brother, but they made them look like these grandparents, and that they were much younger. You know, they Aunt May. So let's say Peter Parker is in his 50s, or no, I'm sorry, in his 30s, or maybe late 20s, let's say 28, 29, 30, which is about the age that they kind of keep him. Then Aunt May would be, so 20 years more, so she'd be 58. So let's say she was a little bit older than her parents. She'd still be in her low 60s. I mean, and look at how they drew her. So one of the things that I do like is the fact that they de-aged her here. So he forgot to she says something about an assistant grant and then he forgot about it. He didn't turn in the application. So Um, Mary Jane says, "Take care of it. I'll go ahead and into the party and make excuses." So Peter, of course, is starting to get jealous of Jonathan Caesar. He's got good reasons to, but that'll be in the next arc. So he says he should go as Spider-Man because it'll be faster, and he trusts Mary Jane, but Jonathan Caesar not so much here. Good embrace here. Todd McFarlane is such a good storyteller. So again, we're at Empire State University, which is supposed to be like Columbia. Well, it's a state university. I don't know stuff. I don't live in New York City, so or I'm from New York. So anyway, this dude breaks in, and so he's gonna try to break into this big old safe, and he causes all this noise. Of course, Spider-Man happened to be going by, and he goes in and sees this guy, and so we are about to have a little silly supervillain fight here. And you can see here, the guy jumps out. So, and Spider-Man catches him again. Vertical panels. How amazing is that? So here comes the police. Great. I mean, goodness gracious. This is why McFarlane. Nobody drew like this. Nobody. Jim Lee and Todd McFarlane. Jim Lee comes a little bit later, but Todd McFarlane revolutionized. This is what started this whole 90s movement. It's just Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee did it well. Other people not so much. So the humbug here is going to try to get rid of these cops. Here comes Spider-Man trying to make sure nobody gets hurt. In retrospect, this isn't a good pose, but it just, you look at it so quickly as you're kind of reading by, you can't tell. But when you fixate on it, you're like, not one of his better ones, but that's all right. So, you can see here sort of like the cover, and again, Spider-Man doing a reverse silhouette here. McFarlane doing a reverse silhouette here, and so now he's in the entomology lab, which is bugs, and he says hi to one of his bugs, and so he's like, this lady here is like, hey, I got a thesis. I don't need a prankster to interrupt. So Spider-Man shows up. He's like, lady, get out of the way. So, he grabs the humbug now, grabs that lady. Again, vertical panels, McFarlane and Frank Miller. So, of course, he's like, okay. And so he grabs this, these roaches. And he's like, no, I give up. So, you can see he even takes up the glove. So, and Spider-Man goes, if I ever write my autobiography, I'll think I'll leave this chapter out. And the humbug is like, how could you do this, you fiend? So we're back to the Bedford Towers here, and I again love how they silhouette the towers, leaving it separate from the other to create some depth and distance here. So we got all the guys. So this guy's making the moves on Mary Jane here, and he's like, doesn't realize that she's married, and Peter's like, hello, you're interrupting, you're bothering my wife. He kicks, and of course he hurts himself. So Caesar tells his people to get rid of that guy that was bothering her. Again, great. I love it when you can do things simply for time's sake. You don't have to draw everybody. Just I love this so much. So Caesar apologizes for the incident, and so you can see here Caesar. This will be good. Like I said, it's the next arc that will be coming up after the next issue. So Mary Jane says we better call it a night. We just got back from Cleveland this morning, and Peter has another signing on Chicago on Monday. And he'll say, my building will certainly seem empty without both of you. So, it says, It's just Peter this time. I have a modeling gig Monday. Good night. And she's like, be well, dear lady. And by Monday night, you'll be mine. So, and of course, we now get that Chicago, and it turns out that the person that was impersonating that guy was the chameleon. So that'll be on the next issue here. So this ends our our coverage here. So Amazing Spider-Man number 306 by David Michelinie slash Michelinie and Todd McFarlane. Lovely picture here. There we go. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you for listening. Goodbye.